What is going on, Eagles fans? Welcome back to Eagles Fans News. I'm your host, and today we've got to talk about a story that's shaken the very foundation of the link. Now, look, I know we've all been hearing the noise. The trade rumors surrounding A.J. Brown have gone from a low hum to a literal roar over the last 48 hours. And if you're like me, someone who lives and breathes Eagles football, your first instinct is probably to reject it. You think, there's no way Howie Roseman moves a guy like A.J. But here at Eagles Fans News, we don't just react, we analyze. And from my perspective, the smoke is starting to get a little too thick to ignore. Just this Monday, we got some major breadcrumbs from the NFL Combine. ESPN's Adam Schefter, who usually doesn't miss, compared the A.J. Brown situation to Max Crosby over in Vegas. He said the Eagles aren't actively looking to deal him, but, and this is the part that should make you lean in, they're listening, they're open. In my view, this changes everything because it tells us that A.J. isn't untouchable anymore. For a guy who's been the heartbeat of our passing game since that draft day shocker in 2022, that's a massive shift in the organizational temperature. But here's where it gets really interesting. If, and it's a big if, Howie pulls the trigger, who fills that void? We're hearing reports now, specifically from Matthew Berry, that the Eagles might have their eyes on a six-time Pro Bowler. We're talking about Mike Evans. Now, let's just sit with that for a second. Mike Evans in midnight green. From my perspective, this is exactly the kind of chess move Howie Roseman loves. We've seen it before. Think back to the Super Bowl LII run. We didn't just win because of one superstar. We won because of a calculated blend of veteran leadership and elite talent. Mike Evans is the definition of a pro's pro. He's a guy who just wrapped up his 12th season. And while he dealt with some injuries in 2025, the track record is undeniable. 11 straight seasons of 1,000 yards, that's not a stat, that's a legacy. In my view, if the Eagles are even considering moving on from A.J., it's because they see a window where they can get younger or more flexible with their assets without falling off a cliff at the receiver position. But what Eagles fans need to understand is the why behind the A.J. rumors. It's not just about a contract or a trade value. It's about Devonta Smith. There's a growing belief inside the NovaCare complex that Devonta, our Slim Reaper, hasn't even hit his ceiling yet. As much as we love what he's done, the word is the Eagles think he has another gear. They think that if he were the true, undisputed number one, getting the kind of target share a guy like Jackson Smith-Njigba or CeeDee Lamb gets, he could be the most dangerous weapon in the NFC. When I look at this roster, I see a team trying to find its soul again. We remember the legends, the Brian Dawkins-style intensity, the Jason Kelce-style heart. We saw Jalen Hurts lead this team with that same mental toughness just a couple of seasons ago. But last year, something felt off. There was frustration. There were alligator arms comments and sideline heat. In my view, Howie is looking at the chemistry. He's asking, does A.J. Brown fit where we're going? Or are we better off letting Devonta lead the way with a veteran like Mike Evans providing that steady physical presence on the outside? Now, let's talk ball for a minute. If you bring in Mike Evans, you're getting 6'5" of pure catch radius. Think about what that does for Jalen Hurts. We know Jalen loves his jump balls. We know he loves that physical edge A.J. provides. Evans gives you that. Maybe with a little less post-catch explosiveness at this stage of his career, but with a level of red zone dominance that is nearly unmatched in NFL history. But what's the cost? That's what's kept me up at night. To move A.J. Brown before June 1st, we're talking about a dead cap hit in the neighborhood of $43 million. That's a bitter pill to swallow, even for a cap wizard like Howie. However, if they find a partner, maybe the Ravens or the Patriots, who's willing to cough up a first and a second-round pick, then the math starts to change. As someone who's watched this team through the lean years and the glory years, I've learned one thing. Never bet against Howie Roseman having a plan 3 steps ahead of the rest of us. If he's listening to Office, it's because he's already visualized the Mike Evans jersey being pressed. He's already seen Devonta Smith taking that leap into the all-pro stratosphere. But I want to hear from you, the fans. You're the ones who show up to the link in sub-zero temperatures. You're the ones who represent that blue-collar Philly mentality every single day. Does trading A.J. Brown feel like a betrayal of the win-now window, or does it feel like a necessary evolution to keep us as an NFC powerhouse? In my view, you don't get better by subtracting great players unless you have a legendary one waiting in the wings. Mike Evans is a future Hall of Famer. Devontae Smith is a future superstar. Pairing them together under a new offensive look with Sean Mannion calling the shots, that's a story I'm interested in telling. But let's be real, this is Philadelphia. We don't do quiet off seasons. We do drama, we do passion, and we do high stakes. Whether AJ stays or Mike Evans arrives, the goal remains the same, getting back to that February Sunday and bringing another trophy home to Broad Street. This is the A.J. Brown saga, and here at Eagles Fans News, we're going to be with you every step of the way. We'll be watching the legal tampering period, we'll be monitoring those trade phones, and we'll be right here breaking it down with the honesty this city deserves. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about the name on the back of the jersey, it's about the bird on the side of the helmet. Keep it locked here. Fly, Eagles, fly.